Hi there, I'm Adeline and it is so nice to meet you. Welcome to the 37th Celebrity Synastry chart reading where we will be covering Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart looking at the personal planets, signs, aspects, and if birth times available house overlays. I also add my insights and interpretations along the way, and of course feel free to leave your own in the comments below. Before we start the video, give this video a like and subscribe for more Celebrity Synastry chart readings I post here weekly, and let's get into it. Starting off with the Sun, we have Rihanna's Sun in Pisces and Rocky's Sun in Libra. They listen to each other. Rocky thinks Rihanna is too vague, appreciate the other's gentleness. Rihanna thinks Rocky is too justice-oriented, and they avoid confrontation together, which does line up with how both of them seem to be gentle so far. Rocky's Sun overlaid in Rihanna's 6th house. They are productive together. Rocky is submissive. Work is a strong theme here, so potentially they could have met at work, and I'm pretty sure both of them. I'm not sure if Rihanna, mostly she is focusing on her own business, but Rocky obviously still has his music career. It's a boss-assistant-like relationship. Rihanna's Sun, Trine Rocky's Mercury. They have a great friendship and good communication. Rihanna accepts Rocky and they both just get each other. Do business together well, so again coming in with the work theme. Rihanna supports Rocky's beliefs. They can talk through issues together, which is interesting because we saw they both avoid confrontation, so hopefully we'll see more in the reading so we can confer one way or the other. Rihanna gets what makes Rocky tick. Rihanna admires Rocky's intelligence, so she really looks up to him, which is nice. Understand each other on a basic level, which we did see like in the beginning. They do seem to, lean towards more of being gentle naturally. Speak to each other with understanding. What did I just say? Rihanna allows Rocky to express himself, and Rihanna feels she can think better around Rocky, so I'm glad she seems to really appreciate him thus far. Rihanna's Sun opposite Rocky's Venus. The values conflict and they can frustrate each other. Rocky grows to resent Rihanna and Rocky sees Rihanna as too dictatorial. Okay. Potentially, because we did see there was like a boss-assistant like relationship, maybe Rihanna tends to be a bit too bossy. Potentially, we'll see more as the reading goes on. Rihanna needs to learn to accept Rocky. I assume this would be in particular ways because we're just seeing a lot of how Rihanna does really appreciate Rocky. So I wonder what specific area she needs to learn to accept Rocky in. Hard work is needed to make this work. Rocky can play games with Rihanna. Rihanna will either not appreciate Rocky or take him for granted. So maybe it's leaning towards that where she tends to like take him for granted and doesn't really appreciate him in that way or accept him in that way. Rihanna's Sun square Rocky's Jupiter. They have different values. This is starting to get repeated. They may overindulge with each other. Excess is from good intention. They have a strong desire to make each other happy. Rocky has the ability to cheer up Rihanna. I see that. Both may expect too much from the relationship and both encourage the other to self-indulge and be impractical. It's a bit iffy so far, isn't it? Rihanna's Sun, Sextile Rocky Saturn. It's a long-term relationship. They work on common goals together. Rocky is loyal to Rihanna. They both feel they can rely on each other. They can work together business-wise. So again, with the whole work relationship. So potentially, maybe they did start off more in the industry together. I would assume so. They've both been around for a long time. And only just recently gotten together. They both feel a sense of commitment to each other. And potentially as well, in their careers, they were very loyal to each other that way. Rihanna's Sun, Sextile Rocky's Uranus. They start as friends. That's kind of what I've just been saying. They seem to have started in the work field and then, developed interest over time. It's a relationship of freedom. Rihanna is attracted to Rocky's originality. They enjoy intellectual conversations together. The relationship works best when they both encourage the other's independence, which we have been seeing they do encourage to bring out the best in each other. They both encourage each other to be themselves. What did I just say? Frequent changes occur in the relationship. Definitely, I think if we are seeing it from the perspective of the whole timeline of the relationship, like if they went from co-workers to friends to, partners to now having children together, that's a lot of changes. Rihanna finds Rocky to be inspiring and exciting, and she may feel freshened by Rocky's lack of limits. They both have a strong attraction to the other. Rocky's Sun opposite Rihanna's Moon. They have a stronger mutual attraction, which we saw again. Their differences attract them. Both are drawn to the relationship. Rocky may find Rihanna too dependent. I mean, we did just see that she finds his lack of limits a bit threatening. So potentially he wants to have more freedom in the relationship, but he feels that Rihanna clings onto him too much potentially. Rihanna may find Rocky overbearing. Rocky's sun, Trine Rihanna's Mercury, so this is a repeated aspect, just inverted. So everything from before is emphasized, but also Rocky accepts Rihanna. Rocky supports Rihanna's beliefs. Rocky gets what makes Rihanna tick. Rocky allows Rihanna to express herself, and he feels he can think better around Rihanna. So all very nice that this is all like equal and mutual on both ends. Rocky's sun, opposite Rihanna's Venus. Another repeated aspect, just inverted. So again, everything is emphasized from before, but also Rihanna grows to resent Rocky. Rihanna sees Rocky as too dictatorial, and Rocky needs to learn to accept Rihanna. The only thing I can see regarding this, because we have been seeing on both ends, is Rocky kind of needs to accept that Rihanna may be a bit more dependent on him. Rihanna can play games with Rocky, and Rocky will either not appreciate Rihanna or take her for granted. So far I'm glad that, we have just, with the inverted aspects, but on the whole, it seems like they are pretty much on the same page. It's all pretty equal here. Rocky's sun, square Rihanna's Neptune. Misunderstandings occur, there's delusions and deception. They both glamorize each other, and attraction is based on appearance. Rihanna promises more than she gives. Rocky believes Rihanna is a soulmate, and Rihanna eventually disappoints Rocky. Yikes. They both need to be clear about their expectations. So now it's time for moon. So we have Rihanna's moon in Aries and Rocky's moon in Cancer. So these are both cardinal signs. Rocky feels Rihanna doesn't care. I wonder why. There is that bit of like underlying on both ends, that sort of resentful factor, so potentially linked to that. Rihanna thinks of Rocky as manipulative. That's wild, because we did see the playing games. On both parts, but Rihanna's as well, so wild. Rihanna is irritated by Rocky's dependence. It's weird, because from what we've been seeing so far, like they pretty much seem to feel the same way about each other. If you asked them both individually, how do you feel about the relationship, I feel they would say the same thing based off what we're seeing. But those things don't necessarily complement each other, if that makes sense. Like they both see each other as dependent and clingy and don't like that, it seems. But how does that work? So hopefully we'll see a bit more to confirm some things. But we have been seeing that, Rocky has those dependent tendencies as well as Rihanna. Rihanna's independence makes Rocky anxious, and they need to make changes for each other. Again, going back to hard work is needed to make this relationship work. Rocky's moon in Rihanna's 4th house overlaid. It's love-hate, I'm not surprised. They have conflicting feelings, and they both feel deeply bonded to each other. They are competitive like siblings. I wonder if this would be more related to like their career and friendship back in the day. Rocky may feel like a parent to Rihanna, and both feel the need to spend time apart. Rihanna's moon conjunct Rocky's Mars. They both feel more creative together. So again, I feel like they seem to, from what we're seeing, they seem to have a pretty good work relationship. Over time, Rihanna finds Rocky insensitive. Emotional relationship involved in each other's lives. Definitely they are now. Sometimes Rihanna wishes Rocky was more committed. I don't know in what way, because we've seen already a couple times that Rocky is pretty loyal to Rihanna and committed to her, so Rocky can make Rihanna feel insecure. Potentially it is just that, because I feel like there is a bit of iffiness to this relationship, so potentially Rihanna just feels a bit insecure and just has her suspicion. Rihanna's desire for closeness makes Rocky feel limited. Again, okay, so it seems like Rihanna potentially may be the more clingy one, because we've kept see this coming up. Rihanna's moon square Rocky's Neptune. They misunderstand each other's signals. There's a possibility of neglecting each other. We have just seen that they both feel the need to spend time apart, so it makes sense. It's a confusing relationship. Agreed. Rihanna is unsure of Rocky's intentions. I think we did see earlier that they need to make their intentions clear to each other, so difficulty maintaining a relationship, and Rihanna is sensitive to Rocky's mood. She seems to be quite sensitive. Rocky's moon square Rihanna's Jupiter. Tendency to be extreme excessive. We were seeing this earlier with finances and wealth and all of that opulence. Poor judgment can lead to trouble. They're too optimistic as a couple. They both feel free with their emotions, and relationship is about determining boundaries. So again, with sort of being honest with each other about their intentions and everything kind of related to that. failing to keep promises. Was it Rihanna? We saw that she has a tendency to overpromise. Both will learn better judgment. We always hope so, don't we? They meet in an optimistic way. So I assumed we did see before that they started as friends. So obviously a bit more of an optimistic start to their relationship. Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Rihanna's Mercury in Aquarius and Rocky's Mercury in Libra. So these are both air signs. They have abstract conversations. We did see a lot of like creativity and intellectual intelligence in this relationship so far. They both tend to be argumentative. It's intellectually stimulating, as I just said. They share detached and objective values. Rocky's Mercury overlaid in Rihanna's 7th house. Rocky senses Rihanna will accept the way he thinks, and he would be correct with what we've been seeing so far. Rihanna seems to really appreciate Rocky. There's an intellectual bond. Rocky finds it easy to communicate with Rihanna, and there's strong communication. Rihanna's Mercury square Rocky's Pluto. There's frequent intellectual arguments. I'm not surprised, like we were just seeing like argumentative, but there is that like intellectual dynamic to their relationship as well. Both may hold on to issues for too long. Going back to the beginning, how they avoid confrontation, I think that's what this will be linking back to, potentially just sweeping things under the carpet. Rihanna is overwhelmed by this dynamic. I'm not surprised. She seems to be very sensitive. She seems to be in her feelings in this relationship. Rihanna wants to understand Rocky deeply. Rihanna feels controlled by Rocky. Going back to how we saw this as a confusing relationship, I feel like mostly on Rihanna's bit, because on one hand she really wants Rocky's sort of like devout attention, so to speak, and feels insecure and maybe a bit threatened by his sort of freedoms. But then we also see this where she feels a bit too controlled by it. Potentially, maybe career-wise, she wants the independence to herself. She's a very successful businesswoman, so I would not be surprised if she would be a control freak about that. So potentially in that regard, she may feel Rocky is a bit too overbearing in that, but maybe in other areas of life, like her personal life and obviously in their relationship, all good. Rocky wants to know Rihanna's secrets, and Rocky tries to control Rihanna's thoughts. Rocky's Mercury sextile Rihanna's Mars. Rihanna encourages Rocky to put his thoughts into action. As we were seeing earlier, she seems to be very encouraging of him. There's healthy competitiveness, and they work well together. They inspire each other to improve themselves. I so see that. Rihanna can take things too personally, potentially why she may be a bit insecure and sensitive. Rocky's Mercury opposite Rihanna's Jupiter. They have different philosophical views. They frequently interrupt each other. This keeps coming up. They seem to be argumentative. Potentially why they are argumentative, they keep butting in. Rocky sees Rihanna as too flippant. I'm not surprised if she, because from what we've seen so far, she seems to be going back and forth if she wants, possessiveness of Rocky, if that makes sense. Like, she seems dependent on him, then also wants to be independent away from him. So potentially in that way. There's a mutual lack of understanding, and Rihanna sees Rocky as too rational. So now it's time for Venus. So we have Rihanna's Venus in Aries and Rocky's Venus in Leo. These are both fire signs. It's a spirited, fiery relationship. I'm not surprised. Both fall in love quickly. They are competitive, going back to how they are competitive together like siblings. Rocky takes this more seriously than Rihanna. Both tend to be self-centered. I'm not shocked. I think they both are, from what we've seen, not that they don't seem to care about each other, but I feel like there is the element of focusing on themselves a bit, which is natural. They admire each other. Rocky finds Rihanna both charming and infuriating. Rocky doesn't get the attention he wants from Rihanna, Maybe this leans more to the beginning of the relationship because now he definitely has her attention. Rihanna finds Rocky exciting and infuriating. This doesn't surprise me though. We saw like Rihanna seems to really like Rocky and admires him and everything, but also she can get annoyed with him. They have lots of fun together. Rocky's Venus overlaid in Rihanna's 5th house. Rocky sees Rihanna as perfect. Rocky is forgiving of Rihanna's faults. Rihanna appreciates the admiration from Rocky. They are both satisfied here. That wouldn't shock me either. Like, it seems like, I mean, they have their problems, but they do seem to really like each other. And this relationship potentially can work for them in other ways as well. Financially, I'm sure it does. Rihanna may take advantage of Rocky. I don't like how we've already seen that she's more manipulative. She can play games with Rocky. It seems to be more emphasized on her side, and I don't really like that. Rihanna's Venus square Rocky's Neptune. Rihanna needs to make sure she falls in love with the real Rocky, not her illusion. Extremes of trusting. Rocky needs to be careful to keep promises and not make huge ones. We saw the same with Rihanna earlier. Rocky has a hard time dealing with Rihanna because she doesn't want to see reality. I'm not shocked because just from what we're seeing from this reading, Rocky seems to be very possessive. Rocky's Venus, Trine Rihanna's Mars. Rihanna enjoys spending time with Rocky and the feeling of love never fades away. Rocky makes Rihanna feel confident and desirable. I'm not surprised. He seems to really like her put on the pedestal. And it's a fulfilling relationship. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this relationship is working for them in whatever way that may be. There's nothing to indicate otherwise. Rocky's Venus, Trine Rihanna's Jupiter. Rihanna appreciates Rocky as a friend. See the good in each other. They make each other feel more confident. We see again. So I'm glad if Rocky may get that treatment as well because we've been mostly seeing that Rihanna feels confident from this relationship. They are a financially abundant couple. They share inside jokes. They thrive in each other's company and they're a popular couple, literally. Rocky improves Rihanna's social life. I assume this will be related to maybe just his connections. I'm not really too ridiculously familiar with sort of where they are in the industry or how long they've been in the industry. Rocky's Venus, Trine Rihanna's Uranus. The relationship seems odd to outsiders. I'm not sure if there is anything like publicly, like a public perception that they are odd. As far as I know, there isn't, but I might be out of the loop. They enjoy experimenting together and they share unusual interests. There's an unconventional setup. There's an element of fate and Rocky is drawn to Rihanna's unique qualities. I'm glad that because we saw this before with Rihanna being attracted to Rocky's unique qualities. I'm glad it's mutual. It's not long term and Rihanna finds Rocky charming and attractive. So now it's time for Mars. We have Rihanna's Mars in Sagittarius and Rocky's Mars in Aries. It's a spontaneous relationship. They do physical activities together, so stuff like exercising potentially. They may irritate each other, we have seen, and they seem to do so, yes. Rihanna is direct and blunt with Rocky, and Rihanna avoids Rocky when they're angry. So going back to how they avoid confrontation, it seems like both of them naturally do that. Rocky's Mars overlaid in Rihanna's 12th house. Rihanna feels uncomfortable around Rocky, potentially going back to the very beginning, or I guess when she avoids him when they're angry. That's when they are having those conflicts. Potentially that's where she feels uncomfortable being around him. Rocky brings out a hidden side of Rihanna. Rocky feels drained by Rihanna. Relationship formed from having to protect one another. Rihanna wants to protect Rocky, and Rihanna sees the more fragile part of Rocky. Interesting. So it seems like, yeah, they both do become, different people. Different sides of them come out in this relationship. Their Mars signs are squared to each other, so there's a lack of basic understanding of each other, and they push each other, and it could be difficult long term. I'm not surprised. We do keep seeing they do avoid those issues, and that hard work is needed to make this relationship work. Rihanna's Mars conjuncts Rocky's Saturn. Rihanna sees Rocky as controlling, we see again. Rihanna respects Rocky's wisdom, and Rihanna tries to win Rocky's respect, which I think she has from what we've seen. They both need to be considerate of each other and potential to be a good learning experience. Rihanna's Mars conjunct Rocky's Neptune. Rihanna may resent Rocky for not giving her enough space. Rihanna is fascinated by Rocky's ethereal mindset, and they are both humanitarians. Rocky sees Rihanna as a knight in shining armor. This is weird because we just saw that Rihanna wants to protect Rocky. So something had to have happened, because it's weird things to be repeated. Oddly specific. Rocky is likely to become dependent on Rihanna. Rocky's mask, where Rihanna's Saturn. Rocky tries to impress Rihanna. Rihanna's standards are in conflict with Rocky's efforts. That's sad. Rihanna may try to control Rocky as she thinks Rocky is immature. Dude, they both need to stop controlling each other. Rocky's mask, where Rihanna's Uranus. Exciting but unstable. I'm not really surprised. Not long term, so we haven't seen a ridiculous... I don't think we've seen many factors when it comes to their longevity of the relationship. I think the last thing we did see, it's just difficult long term. We've been seeing a lot of that. Rocky gets easily irritated with Rihanna. They both get very irritated here easily, don't they? May encourage each other to be reckless. Rihanna triggers Rocky's temper. Rihanna sees Rocky as a threat to her independence. We see again, yikes. But we also saw that she feels threatened by his independence. I give up. Rihanna distances herself from Rocky. Rocky's mask, where Rihanna's Neptune. Circumstances in meeting were never understood by one of the partners. I'm not really surprised. I mean, from our end, from what we're seeing here, yes, because there hasn't been too much about their meeting, except that it was optimistic and they started as friends. So, you know, need honesty to make this work. Yes, so it looks like a lot of work is needed to make this relationship work, and honesty would help, you know, not avoiding confrontation. That was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of this reading. If you are still watching, comment green Gemini, and please share your thoughts below as well. If you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I do these celebrity synastry chart readings every week. And besides that, give this video a like, and I will see you next time. Bye!